Hey everyone, we're going to be going over what's coming up in week 10 in this video. So we are in the final third of the semester, and we are kind of transitioning from doing research to pulling all that research together in the reader's guide. So this week you can see you have stuff due on Monday and on Friday. And Wednesday is meant to give you some time to do some writing of the editor's intro down draft. So I'm going to go over what that means and what you should do for that. You have your final peer response to Research Log 7 this week. So please make sure that you are following these instructions and leaving comments for any of your group members that have turned in Research Log 7 on time. So remember that you will be evaluated by them in terms of your participation in the peer review process. Then another thing I'd like you to do for Monday and to continue looking at this throughout the week is to look at these 4 reader's guides in this folder. So these reader's guides are meant to just serve as examples of what students have done in the past, and also for you to see how they're not all exactly the same, but approach their topics in different ways. And as I said in the instructions here, I would like you to pay attention to how each writer approaches the 3 specific sections of the editor's introduction. And how they discuss connections between their sources in the second section of the editor's introduction. So the editor's introduction assignment, I've linked to it several times throughout this week, but here's one of those links. So the editor's introduction is a major part of the reader's guide. It is the essay that you will write for the class. So instead of that thesis-based research essay, you are writing the editor's introduction, which when it's all complete will be 1,500 words. So it is a major piece of writing. It introduces your topic and your sources to an audience. So I strongly suggest watching this video walkthrough of the editor's introduction assignment and looking at these 3 distinct sections before looking at those student examples, okay? So that you can see how each student is approaching these instructions, how they approach these instructions, and how they close their editor's introduction out. They don't always call each section, section 1, section 2, section 3, but you should be able to see how they move in from one of these sections to the other. Also at the end of this, you'll see this assuming the role of editor of your collection. This is just meant to help you take on that role and speak as an editor, since this is probably a new role that you have probably not had while writing before. So again, I would watch this video explanation of that. And then these are just examples of how editors often write about their collection of sources in their editor's introduction. So these are kind of moves that you as a writer can mimic. So, you know, say in this collection I have done this, or this collection offers. So anything in bold, I've bolded things that are kind of transition type sentences or phrases that help you orient yourself as the editor of the collection. Okay, so notice if you see any of the writers in the student reader's guides doing anything that seems like they're taking on the role of editor. And I've picked these 4 reader's guides. I'm not saying that they are perfect, but they are, I think, really good examples of final drafts of the reader's guide. Okay, so all of that is meant to help you. On Friday, you are turning in a downdraft of your editor's introduction. So if you remember in the Composing Processes Studio, Anne Lamott talked about a shitty first draft, and that's what we're doing here. So she called it the down draft, where you just get it down. And so you will not get a grade on the quality of this draft. You just need to get down 500 words. That's what, that 500 words that can then in the future be worked on and revised and added to make it into an editor's introduction. But what you should do is read over that editor's introduction assignment again. So this is the same one I was linking to before. Make sure that, again, you watch that video walkthrough and read through the sections. And I would say in your downdraft to try to get something written for each of these 3 sections. Okay, and you're turning it into me just to show that you have done it, but it does not have to be good. It's very rough form. You just get it down. And again, this is to kind of decrease that pressure on that first draft. It does not have to be good. You just get down 500 words, okay? And you're not going to have your group look at this either. So I'm just going to skim it over to check that you've done it. But there's not a lot of pressure on this draft. What you'll do for next Monday is a fixed up draft that your group will look at. Okay, let me go back to our weekly overview here. So you're turning that in on Friday. You do not have a studio due on Friday. I have these optional writing exercises to do after you have done your downdraft. So you can see on Monday, you're turning in a fixed up draft where you're going to take what you've written for your downdraft and, as Anne Lamott said in Shitty First Drafts, fix it up. And these 2 optional writing exercises are meant to just help you add more content to your downdraft. So you do not need to turn them in. They're really just meant to help you add to your actual draft. So use them in that capacity there, okay? So please watch those walkthrough videos on the editor's introduction assignments. Remember that you're not making an argument in the editor's introduction. It is meant to talk to your audience about why this topic is important, and also to explain why you've created the categories you have, why you've chosen the sources you've chosen, and most importantly, how they are in conversation with each other. Okay, so please post any questions that you have to the Ask the Professor forum, and I hope you all have a great week.